I'm betting you're gonna wanna know how this one turns out. Why don't we head on over and talk about the neat whiskey chiller today on the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. Let's do this. How's it going, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me today on the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. So the fine people over with Neat Whiskey Chillers reached out and said, hey Scott, you have any interest in reviewing our product? I thought about it for half a second and said, oh, heck yeah. This is something I've kind of seen a little bit about and wanted to know more. It's always interesting because products like this, you always have in the back of your mind, is it gonna work? Who's it for? All of that. So what I wanted to do was kind of dive into, what is the Neat Whiskey Chiller all about? So a little information on this. And as you saw before, it's extremely easy to fill, place in the freezer. I let mine sit in there for about 24 hours. Now we're where we are right now. So pretty easy, straightforward. And so again, what is it all about? So Neat Whiskey Chiller, sitting on just a conventional rocks glass right now. I've put this up on top of a GLENCAIRN. It worked, perfectly in terms of it sitting up there and being stable. So the unit itself, 100% stainless steel. When you do fill it, make sure you don't fill it any more than 13, 14 ounces of water. You don't want that to overflow or expand too much within the unit and cause any damage. What is it? Basically, when you fill that, kind of inner area, this essentially fills or chills this coil that they have in there. And as the whiskey, when you pour it in the top, and we'll demonstrate that here in a minute, when you pour that in the top, it chills this very, very quickly. So I thought, who would this be for? So anybody who enjoys really good whiskey, but doesn't want the major heat and burn or want to enjoy a whiskey neat at room temperature, this may be something right up your alley. So we're gonna kind of put it through its test. We're gonna see what the difference is between something at room temperature and something that's gone through the Neat Whiskey Chiller. So why don't we kind of go ahead and get into it a little bit. And as you saw again in the videos prior, this is super easy. This is fill, place in the freezer, pull it out, and you're ready to go. So it doesn't get any easier than that. So, all right, let's go ahead and kind of dive into it. And again, we're gonna run it through its little tester here and go with the Stag Junior, coming in at almost 128 proof. We'll see what does the Neat Whiskey Chiller have to offer somebody who wants a whiskey at barrel proof, chilled versus something at room temperature. Absolutely incredible whiskey, period. If you like it like this at room temperature, great, fantastic whiskey. Let's go ahead and run it through its little test here, and we'll see what we have to offer. So it's this simple. You just pour your whiskey. And again, if you want to measure it prior so you know exactly what it is you're doing, and I'm just doing it in a conventional rocks glass. If you wanted to put this on top of a GLENCAIRN, you can do that. So this I did just for stability in terms of doing it for the demonstration purpose. So you'll hopefully see on the video as it kind of goes through the coils, and then we'll kind of taste it and see where we're at. So you can maybe see on there how quickly this is going through the system. So we'll give this a second to kind of run through. And again, it's gone through that quickly. This is how fast this all happens. And just to kind of reiterate how this works is the water that you've put inside the cooler basically freezes around the coils. So you're never having any of the water touch the whiskey itself. So it's never being diluted. So if you don't want to ever put a bottle like this, in a freezer, a refrigerator, you don't want to necessarily use ice to dilute the whiskey. Is this going to be the answer to that? Well, we're about ready to find out. You'll get a couple little drips as it kind of just works its way through the coils. But outside of that, it's going to be very clean, very easy to use. And we'll give this a quick little try here and see. Let me pour this in here. And then that way you guys get a good idea of what it is that we're doing. So a quick little taste here. And again, this glass was not chilled. It was just room temperature before I put it in there. Let's take another quick little sip of this one at room temperature. Room temperature stag, you know exactly what you're gonna get. A lot of bold flavors, all of that. So let's see, does the neat whiskey chiller work? Let's see what we've got here. Wow. Kind of a night and day difference. A lot of heat on this. This chilled it really, really nicely. Did it eliminate any flavors? I would say no. What it did is basically what it's advertising it to do. I've run this thing through, it chilled it that quickly. I would say between the two, would this make a difference for somebody who doesn't necessarily want the heat, but wants something a little bit chilled? This thing worked perfectly. And as you can see, it's quick, it's easy, it's convenient, it looks nice, all of that. And you can continue to use this too, because the innards, as long as it stays, you know, frozen, you're always going to be able to chill the whiskey. So again, hands down fantastic. I think this is definitely an item for anybody who enjoys a barrel proof or full strength, full bodied whiskey to help eliminate a little bit of heat, to chill up your whiskey without having to dilute it at all. Perfect. So I think this is, again, a product that I would 100% recommend to anybody who just wants a really nice whiskey chilled. No ice, no putting your bottle in a freezer, anything like that. It's a really, really nice product. So if you've stuck around this long, linked in the description below will be a code or a kind of a coupon code. If you want to receive 10% off of this, go ahead at checkout and use the code MyBourbonJourney. That will get you an additional 10% off of your order. So I would say where we are right now, approaching the holidays, that this makes not only a fantastic Christmas gift or holiday gift, birthdays, all the anniversaries, whatever it may be, anybody who is a whiskey lover in your life and they want a neat little gadget that actually works and does what it's claimed to do, this will be something that you want to make sure to either pick up for yourself or somebody else. Hands down, it 100% makes a difference. You got a lot of the heat here on the room temperature one. The one that went through the neat whiskey chiller still left you with all of those big, bold flavors with a nice chill to it, and it did make it much more approachable. So there you have it. This is a absolutely, I would say, great item to have. It's simple, easy to use. Fill it up, throw it in the freezer, chill your whiskey, and you're off to the races. So again, make sure you check the link in the description below. Neat whiskey chiller, use code MyBourbonJourney, receive 10% off. That simple. So thank you so much to the guys over at Neat Whiskey Chiller for reaching out to me and asking, did I want to do a review of this? And it worked perfectly in the way I was hoping it would actually work. Did it improve the flavors? Didn't necessarily improve it. It made it easier to drink at barrel proof. So again, thanks to the guys with Neat Whiskey Chiller for sending the product over to me. Greatly appreciate it. Again, use the link in the description below, code MyBourbonJourney, and get yourself 10% off of this. So thank you so much for joining me today on the My Bourbon Journey. whiskey review channel. And like I say, it's about the journey and not the destination. Now head on over and enjoy some chilled whiskey. Cheers.